It's the Mr. Clean Show! Song, dance, interviews with people around town. Now I have my friend Miguel here. Miguel. Here.
Yeah.
Not Miguel. Miguel. Here.
Miguel, yeah.
So I know him so
right.
well that I fucked up his name. But anyway, we are talking about doing this really cool idea for a show where we combining
we are going to do like learning to speak Spanish by doing. And the idea is to start doing like a cooking show. And there would be friends over, and we're going to start doing different meals, especially from the Spanish-speaking world. And after that, we would sit down and talk about different dishes and exchange ideas. Also, how can we use the resources that our community has to improve the relationship between different communities?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm worried the sound. Hello, the sound isn't coming in. Oh, there, I hear it. Okay, good.
Okay.
Sorry, my technician in the studio wasn't here, so I had to run the studio myself. So sorry about that sound. Chemtrails. Look at that shit. Everyone remembers 20 years ago, never. Look at the spreading out over the sky. There's another one. Toxic. I don't know what they're doing to us, but Mr. Clean will resist it. Right, brother? Yeah, all right, the power of the gun poets, too. Yes! Everything you want to see from the Mr. Clean Show. My little mini camera will be back, so you'll not have to deal with this cell phone footage. All right, now we'll go for coffee. And hopefully the $5,000 computer will be there when we get back. Yeah!
It sounds good, I think.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Just hold the mic real closer. Or
Here?
I'll hold it further away, you hold it closer.
I
Because I
hold
tend
it.
to project a lot.
All right.
Oh, but anyway,
Yes.
yes, and then we're going to film it in my Quaker meeting house because we have a kitchen there. So my vision of it is like film making the meals, and then the idea of like instead of just abstractly saying, hey, this is heat, it's what's Spanish for heat.
Right.
Caliente?
Fuego.
What?
Caliente is hot.
It's cold.
Hot.
It's hot.
Hot. Yeah.
Oh, that, but heat
Yeah.
itself is...
El fuego.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
fire.
if you're cooking if you're cooking something,
Yeah.
that gives you a more practical example of learning it than just
Abs-
saying, "Oh, this is heat."
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole idea. I tell you.
Because I think that's the natural way you need to speak your native tongue, correct? It's just by doing, by grabbing things, by using things, and that's the best way to learn a language. And that's the way we learned our native tongue, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, as
Yeah.
a child, that's what we,
Yeah,
Hey,
but
Daddy,
you,
what is?
you
know,
didn't use any
Baba. Yeah, it's a bottle, son. Here.
water. you
No,
know?
I want mama breast instead of the bottle. Yeah, water. Yeah. And so, like cooking, it's like, okay, we need some agua for the. I don't know any Spanish.
Yeah,
obviously, I don't
that's
know any
good.
Spanish. But
Agua.
agua is.
Agua.
So.
Para la sopa. Agua para la sopa. Water to make the soup.
Yes.
Los vegetales, the vegetables.
And then we'll be cooking
there's
and
a-
learning Spanish along with cooking.
This is
and then
an onion, cebolla, la cebolla, onion.
is onion.
Yeah.
See, we're learning
Yeah,
already.
Yeah. Las papas.
So, and then I'm thinking like
Potatoes.
the other half of the show will be doing the actual prep of the meal. So you'll learn how to cook a particular dish.
Yes.
Plus learn Spanish. Plus then the other half will be we serve it and we have conversational
While we eat
interaction while
this
we
wonderful meal we prepare.
eat. Yes! Everything you want to see for the Mr. Clean Show! So,
With a nice glass of wine, of course.
yeah, you can have wine. I can't because I'm alcoholic, but that's okay. You could. I'll have some non-alcoholic wine.
all
or-
right.
But that's okay. It's
Any-
good
any-
for people to
yeah,
have
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
It's supposed to be good for cholesterol and all that. It's just for me. One
I
is
understand.
too many and 1,000 never enough. So if I have one glass of wine, then I'll be drinking the whole bottle, and then I'll be going to the liquor store and getting a couple gallons of whiskey, and woo, then it's out the races. So I got to like restrain myself. But I'm perfectly comfortable with other folks drinking near. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, if you break out the weed or something, then I'll be tempted. Don't break out any weed. But I'm fine if people want to have a glass of wine. I'll just have some grape juice or something.
Absolutely, yes. I think it's a great idea, yeah.
So, that's one thing, but I wanted to talk a little about, they have this Speakerama thing or some kind of, where in the worker center. And I've been waiting for, I waited for a year and I kept missing the day, and I was like, okay, I could interact with people and meet some new people and all that, and it was supposed to be, but then they jumped right in, and you were supposed to already know at least a little bit of Spanish, and it was really kind of like I felt. I mean, I'm sure if I would have said something and said, hey, I don't know anything, please take some time with me, because the idea was to play board games or just hang out and have coffee or just talk. Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing we're doing. Yes. Only they did it over playing checkers or something.
Games.
And but I just want to say that is a pretty cool thing, but they should have it open. You know, they should kind of watch out for people that don't. Oh, wait a minute, you don't know any Spanish at all? Then we really need some help. Kind of like I babbled. I'll give you the floor in a minute. I had a little too much coffee. But I'll just keep going with the idea of kind of like years ago, my first wife and I took a dance class. Mm-hmm. And it was dance class for ballroom dancing for beginners. So we're, all right, we're going to learn about, we're all excited, we're all happy. And then we got to the class and they all started like dancing and like they're obviously intermediate. Yeah. And we're like, wait a minute, if this is for beginners, this is a foot. This is step one. That is a beginner's class. Absolutely. So they we tried to fit in with the first session, and then we went to the bathroom and said, let's get out of here, because we feel so embarrassed that we don't. But it was really the instructor's fault, because the instructor should have said, no, this is actually an intermediate class. Right. Or even if the people were advanced, they have to, if they're going to a beginner's class, they should have had to take a step back. This is a foot. This is how you step. This is a very basic dance step. Instead of just suddenly start dancing and whoa, we don't know. But, I want to apply that same thing to this thing. It's start from the very beginning,
for beginners.
Super basic. And then maybe along down the road we'll go with more advanced.
Right, to start with the building blocks.
Oh, wow.
Just
getting fat.
just start with a very basic vocabulary. And, studies have shown that we can learn up to 7 words a day. I mean, foreign words, right? When we are learning foreign languages, it's possible to remember and learn up to 7 words. And the vocabulary we use in our daily life usually is not more than to communicate, basic communication, of course. It's no more than 700 words when you start counting them. So it's not that difficult to reach the goal, If you
wow.
But the thing with foreign languages is you have to do it every day. If you don't do it every day, you can learn 49 words a week. I mean, on a Sunday. You leave it for Sunday, and it would be too much. But if you are disciplined enough and you practice with these 7 words, you would be able to start building up a vocabulary, and you would be able to reach the goal of 700 words and be able to communicate fluently in a basic way. I'm not talking about giving a lecture or a conference, but
All right.
yes, yeah, that's what's really cool about it. That is
Maybe this is the key to my future, because I'm looking for a wife. So if I learn to speak Spanish, then they'll open a whole new dating pool. It could be. Who knows? Maybe
yeah,
that's
you bet.
maybe that's the universe has been holding back, because like, hey,
The
listen,
universe
kid, you need to learn
open it
Spanish
up
first.
for you.
Yes. Plus, I'll learn. Plus, obviously, there'll be incentive. I'm learning cooking, and there'll be incentive for the audience too. Watch out for this chair; it's cracking. I've gained so much weight. I'm probably up to like 200 pounds now. So, but I'm working out again. So.
That's very good. Yeah.
What the heck am I talking? I gotta calm way down on the coffee.
Too much coffee. Yeah.
That's the thing, though. With a compulsive addictive, I said that I was alcoholic, and I had trouble in that department. So naturally, coffee, I'm going to drink a whole bunch of cups. Or with exercise, I'll tend to over-exercise. Or getting involved in political movement, I'll tend to go overzealous or whatever. Yeah. It's like I got to just be careful.
In this case, we are going to go slowly and step by step.
Yeah.
And trying to cook very healthy meals that are going to be good in any kind of diet and help you to be fit.
Yeah.
That's too much.
And then maybe we'll even incorporate another, there was a young lady that volunteers at Loaves and Fishes that was going to come to the show tonight, but she must have had something else to finish. But maybe she's into exercise, and then we could do an exercise part of the. Okay, yeah. Now here's running shoe, and here's what Spanish words for exercise to broaden the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we'll do the cooking show. We'll do it. This is going to be great. Yeah. Everything you want to see. So So that formulates the idea. So look forward for that in the future. I'm
really looking forward.
Some of my Quaker friends, our friends, Gina is one to talk to. She's on the meeting house committee.
Oh,
Dick is on the meeting house, the guy with the beard,
yes.
Tall guy.
Yes.
He's on the meeting house committee, and a couple others. So we'll approach them. I think Gina's cool, is really mellow, and so we'll talk to her about it. And I think if we start, as long as we're not making a profit, they normally have a little bit of rent. But if we tell them, hey, we're doing a public service, we're teaching Spanish, we're starting out, everybody's welcome. Perhaps I don't know how they'll work it, but like with another church that I know of that was meeting there, they let them have rent free because they're just starting out and they didn't really have any. And then if they expanded and they had a lot of donations or something, they would have started charging them for it. So we'll see what.
Yeah, that's very important to have a place to do it. Definitely. Yeah.
Another option might be the space at Green Star, but they definitely would charge. I think because we're Quaker friends, they would, or attendees. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually applying for full membership, even though I'm consider myself a Quaker for the last 5 years. You have to apply and get approved through a clear this committee. So I'm going to do that very
Oh,
soon.
really?
I'm in the process of doing
Oh, I
that.
didn't know that.
But still, we're attenders, so
Yeah, yeah.
there's like a little hidden meaning of it's lowercase friend. We're
Yeah,
friends,
yeah.
lowercase. But once
Yeah.
you become a full member, then it's uppercase friend, whatever that means. I guess I'll find out when I become full member.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk to them first, and after that, we announce it.
Yeah. But no, we're doing it. It's going to happen because it's the will of God, I tell you. No, we Quakers don't necessarily believe it. That's one thing I love about Quakerism is that we have atheists, we have agnostics, we have one thing that resonated for me about 5 years ago when I decided I wanted to definitely become that would be my spiritual home, is that one gentleman said, it stood up in the meeting and said, people can't process the fact that I could be a devout Jew and a Christian at the same time because I'm a Quaker. Because we believe in the inner light of God and all mankind. And now I personally have my own beliefs about accepting Christ or whatever. But I wanted to get away from the bigotry, and I think it was during the second baby Bush election years ago when the retarded Bush was elected. And I was a Republican before that, but it just didn't. With Poppy Bush, there's something I had like a bad vibe, even though he was seemingly saying all the right things. I just got a bad spiritual vibe. So during the second baby Bush election, I'd already started to know some stuff behind the scenes that it wasn't quite what it appeared to be. That we're not like fighting for freedom, there's fighting for oil and different things like that. But regardless of what I knew intellectually, spiritually I knew something was amiss. Even though he claimed to be a Christian and claimed we're doing it for freedom and all that. So anyway, I was in this one spiritual fellowship, and baby Bush was elected again, and they were all rejoicing, oh, God's man got in, and blah, 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 oh, praise the Lord. And then I just physically felt within my spirit ill because I just something, a check in my spirit of, wait a minute, I'm trusting in these people for spiritual guidance and fellowship, and they're just all brainwashed that they somehow think that it's okay to go bombing children and it's for freedom when they're really fighting for oil, and they're fighting for opium, quite frankly. The Taliban is, I'm not Islamic, I'm not really agree with the Taliban, but for better or worse, they don't believe in drug usage. When they took over Afghanistan, they burned all the opium fields. But once we got in there, grew them right back up, and that's why the flood of cheap heroin. So we have only ourselves to blame for that, but maybe this isn't the subject for this show. Maybe I'll have to edit that out, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll show a little scene about what is really going on behind the scenes.
Right, yeah.
But don't let that discourage you. We're not going to get all political in this fellowship where we teach cooking and all that.
It's going to be like an interfaith activity.
Yeah. And we won't get all political. I just happened to get off on that. How did I get stuck in it? The reason I wanted Quakerism is because I wanted to keep the core Christian beliefs, not throw the baby out with the bathwater, but get rid of the bigotry and the brainwashing and the just following blindly stuff. So I guess that's how I got off on the whole political.
Right. Yeah, but so going back to our subject, so the idea is again to invite members of the Hispanic community here, and friends or people and have a gathering. And could be we have to find the right place to do it, and that would be a fun, easy way to learn by doing. In this case, Spanish, but it could be, any foreign language. So that's the main idea, and hopefully, we would find enough people that are interested in the in this project, and but we have to start working in the small details now, like where it's going to happen, how many people can come, where's our audience, who's going to be our audience. So that's the few things that we have to think about it, right?
Right on. Any
Like,
other subjects?
It could be, I'm not sure how far we can reach our audience through this studio. I have no idea.
I think we've got potentially a couple 100,000 viewing audience. I think only probably a few thousand actually watch, but
yeah.
But then again, now I put stuff on the internet, so I've got 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I post stuff that goes all across the world, and YouTube. If I get the right tags on there, you can like access it. Like if we there's certain tags you can put. So learning Spanish, and then the tag should come and bring up our show.
So we can use YouTube as well. You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
When we have like.
The studio, Time Warner itself doesn't really discourages that, and they kept us from doing.
Okay.
But we film it here, and as long as we run it on Channel 13,
yeah,
we were able to use the facilities. And then I just happened to personally put my stuff on, just like I might put anything. Like if I did, even if I wasn't involved with the studio, I might, if I did a couple songs and an open mic night, I might film it and put it on YouTube. So I do that with my show. But if you put the right tags on, then when they do it, the search engine is theoretically supposed to bring up that show. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't seem to be working great. Yeah, YouTube, pay attention. I've got the Mr. Clean show on. It's got a unique spelling with 2 N's and a capital at the very end. And so when somebody types in on the search engine that unique spelling, the Mr. Clean show, it should pop up all my shows, but it doesn't. So pay attention, YouTube. Maybe now that I'm getting more, I've got like 1,000 views. Once I get way up there and more views, maybe it will work out right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And if you know anything, if anybody knows anything about computers, that'd be helpful too.
I might be able to know someone.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Because that'd help us like get the thing. Then he could figure out why maybe I need to get my own special page or something like that. There's a gentleman here, Connor, that does another show. Actually, he's a competition with me for the award show. He does this House of Cards or something like that. That's up against an entertainment category. But mine's gonna win, maybe. I have never even seen his show because it's hard to get. I've got cable, but you have to have a special box to get. Like Time Warner's tried to sabotage us the whole thing all along the way. Like they made it so the signal is like condensed and it's all blurry. That's why you're getting a blurry picture. They buried us up at 97-3, even though it's technically still channel 13. It was beautiful when it was on the dial. I mean, I'm doing this, but now it's all digital. But still, if I generally, if I'm scanning, if I'm channel surfing, I start at 2, and then people would go, to 12, 13. Oh, there's somebody, and you might see a local face that you know, and then you stop and watch that. So it was beautiful when it was on 13, but now it's still Pegasus channel 13, but now it's 97-3 buried up with a whole bunch of others, so the bandwidth is cut way down, so that's why it's all blurry. And really, they should, I'm going to get on the Cable Access Oversight Committee and try to get them to do the right thing and increase our signal strength, put us back on 13 where we belong, increase the funding. Yes!
That would be very helpful. Yeah.
So now we will review let's conclude this thing. This next show that we're going to do, you might see it another time, where we're going to review my mayor's special. And
that would
Miguel's going to help me. We're going to watch that, and then we're going to watch 10 minutes, and he's going to tell me what he thinks of it. If you're willing to.
Yeah.
Look forward to that after this.
Yeah, looking forward.
You could see it on the cable guide. Oh, that's the other thing. They keep us off. Instead of putting us on whatever show is supposed to be on the scroll, they just say Pegasus, and they won't announce the actual individualized shows. Just a whole bunch of stuff like that. And they're supposed to be helping us, but they don't. But maybe they're taking over new ownership, and we got some new people in there, so maybe they'll do the right thing now. All right, now we'll go the Mr. Clean Show, everything you've wanted want to see. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Come back. We watch this other show where we review the mayor's interview, and Miguel tells me what he thinks about it. Everything you want to see. All right, that went well, I think.
So you had to edit it, right?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, we'll edit it down, and so we'll just leave this running. Actually, yeah, we'll just leave it running and even record it, and see if we can watch this show. Mr. CleanN Show here. Guests, please sit down. Now we're here to review my mayor's special. I know you want to talk about the other show, but we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that soon. Now we're going to watch the mayor's show here on this wide screen, and you're going to give me some feedback. Right. Unfortunately, the comedy people are coming in, so we're only going to watch the first 10 minutes, but you'll give me a review on that. Okay, ready? Roll the film! Wait, you need to say something. Or no, you'll talk after when you evaluate.
Yeah, I would talk afterwards, yeah.
All right. All right, Mr. CleanN is here, ready for the interview with the mayor. And the creative consultant and cameraman is there, ready. Our other camera people are coming up the stairs, maybe eventually. Here, this is the office of the mayor. It's cool. Reception area here. Here's some other city attorney. Here's the building department. Everything you want to see for the Mr. CleanN Show. Fortunately, my Sony camera bit the dust. Sony products are horrible, I tell you. But Ed's ready. All right, Charlotte's coming up the stairs. Oh yeah, Sony products suck. The thing broke down. Plus, as we said in show number 4, they're bad, I tell you. There she is. She's coming in the door. The screen here. They're making sure she doesn't have all. She's putting away her automatic weapons. She lets them outside. All right, she's got her cool sweater on. Alright. Ooh, scissors. Can't have scissors. So she's a fashion designer. Alright. Show everything you want to see. Entering City Hall. Cool metal things. The security is on ball. They're checking out everything. Yeah, but you're a fashion designer. That's why.
Okay, thank you. That's what I need to know, man, my scissors.
Come on now, they're only $2 scissors. We could go. All right, that way.
Oh, I want some gum.
Come for the Mr. CleanN Show. We got an interview with the mayor.
I'm
trying to get this for you. No, go ahead. No, that's good. Ooh. Nice tush. Oh.
I changed my trousers.
Sweet.
I realized that I need to show more respect because I'm
Sweet. All right. Heading up the stairs. The iPod is going. Oh, that's iPod is a pump?
It's not a pump.
Oh.
You promised me I'd get my scissors.
Yes.
This happened to me at the airport. I had to go on my luggage and have my scissors in my
Really?
luggage. Yeah, because they snatched my weapon.
It happened to me, like I left my 357 Magnum and they thought I was going to shoot somebody, and I said, well, if I go to court without my weapon, what if I don't like the judge's decision? How am I going to shoot him in the head?
You can't say that. We're on city road property. Are we going up to the attic or the roof?
Ooh, oh shit. Ooh, we almost went to the attic. And no, I wouldn't shoot anybody.
I did not shoot anyone.
Alright, Ed's here. He hasn't got the camera out. What's wrong with him? The receptionist lady is getting ready for us. She's thinking about, she's probably not even 10
You know
yet.
what I need?
What? I'll find you back. Okay, now we're preparing for the interview. You were going to say a prayer for us, right?
I'm gonna
Lord, bless this interview
Dear God,
to the nourishment of our
give us
bodies.
a totally hot show. And by hot, I mean all the definitions of hot that grabs people's attention up and down the whole way through. That is for all people, everywhere. Because it's Ithaca, and Ithaca is a portal for, communication with the other side, right?
We're interdisciplinarians. We are interdimensional beings.
Exactly,
It just
interdimensional.
happens once you realize that magic starts to happen.
Imagine. Exactly.
Interesting. Very
Did you
interesting.
get a question together? Did you get a question together?
I'll make it up.
Yuck! Women never do that in public, okay?
Yeah, you got the gist of it.
Not only that, but like, I'll tell you
We're gonna
that
get
when
fired.
my boyfriend comes over, I have to ask him to leave the apartment so I can, do number 2.
But everyone knows.
Oh, really? That intense. Do you do underarm hair? I love that.
No!
You don't?
No! Hey, what about that Nicki Minaj song? Remember that? I used to love you so much and now I just hate you!
All right, can I get your footage? Mr. Clean Show, everything you want
Show
to
your
see.
phone, it's black and yellow too.
Huh?
Twins.
Just all the layers.
Psychic twins.
Looking at the colors.
Hey, tell me about yourself though.
Well, I've been a cameraman for about 40 years.
Love it. Did you go to Ithaca High School?
No,
Where'd you go to school?
New York City.
Wait, what?
That's where I'm from. The
Wait.
Bronx.
When did you move? I just moved back from New York after living away for 20 years. No, wait, where?
The Bronx.
Le Bronx Sud.
Not the zoo. Well, maybe
Le
it's the
Bronx
zoo,
Sud. Le Bronx. Le Bronx.
but Been here for 35
How is it
years.
you learn to
And-
speak English? Hold the card.
Excuse me. Can I ask you a one should be the Mr. Clean Show is Ithaca.
That is it.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, so I
You
just
psychic.
remembered it.
It's a Mr.
Because I've already heard it
Am I
and I
film-
thought
are
it
you
was
filming?
me. I am filming now. Look at
Mr.
us.
Clean Show
Hey!
is Ithaca. The Mr. Clean Show
Ithaca.
is the universe.
Do you know that the average age of the average Ithacan is 25 years old? Man,
Really?
that makes
Where-
me feel like a great grandma.
Then you must have.
Right about now. And this guy too, he's got like nothing to say. Youth is wasted on the young, right, Remstar? You just tell me about that.
25, 25, 25, 25.
Discerning what is the most important thing to get to. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hit record anytime. The sooner the better. All right, we're here with the Mr. Clean Show. Who's recording? Anybody?
Oh wait, let me get you.
We're here with the Mr. Clean Show. Here
Don't
with
waste any time.
with the mayor, and he's great. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
All right. And I got a fellow interviewer.
Oh, yeah,
here,
me,
and
right,
she will
me.
be sit in the middle for eye
Oh, am I
candy.
going to sit in the middle? Okay, great. Oh, I
Yes,
like
and
that.
also when you do talk, like the best thing is to go right. You probably
Yeah,
know how to
right,
handle,
right.
and I'll hand this off to you. So this is great. I love you. You got you brought fireworks back to Stewart Park.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
fixing
thank
the
you for that.
infrastructure.
Wait, take a breath because
Yeah, let you take
the
it.
fireworks at
I'll
Stewart
come.
Park is a major thing that we really enjoyed this year in particular because this is my first year back enjoying the fireworks. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. It was a group effort in the truest definition. I mean, I'm the one that sort of threw a temper tantrum and wanted the fireworks to come back, but the community funds it completely. They donate it, and everybody pitches in and volunteers. It's a beautiful time. Beautiful time.
Awesome.
Right. Oh wow. I should have had. We should have had it. We got to make sure this will
Wait,
be
where's
like a
the other
talking stick.
microphone? Isn't there
This will
another
be like a
mic-
talking stick.
Oh, jeez. The mayor just told us that he fought really hard to get the funding, and he was successful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, fireworks. Well, it's a funny. Yeah, thank you for mentioning it because it's not sort of the hard governance. It's not the tough stuff, but it mattered a lot to me because we don't have any. We have a lot of big events, but nothing that's truly community wide. And fireworks was always my favorite holiday because if you're a kid that grows up poor, you don't have Christmas is not the same for you as it is for everybody else. And
No.
Thanksgiving's not the same as it is for everybody else.
Sure.
But in the fireworks, they are the same. I mean, there's no better seats or worse seats. There's no VIP seating. It's the night sky, and it belongs to everyone. And you can't even avoid it. So it is the truly community-wide celebration, and it brings people together. You know, when you campaign, you got people on East Hill, and you got people on West Hill, and people on the North Side, and people in Fall Creek, and they'll have their own sort of segregated communities. You get to know those communities pretty well while you're campaigning. That first summer, 4 years ago, when we brought him back, was the first time I'd seen all those communities in the same place.
Yes, and I want to add too that like you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about your outfit in the summer, so you're not worried about buying them expensive Timberland boots or nothing, or the like nice winter coat and having the perfect wool hat to show up for the fireworks, unless, well, I was going to say you live in Argentina, but they don't celebrate the 4th of July.
Right. They surely have fireworks somewhere. But yeah, you're right. It's t-shirts and flip-flops. That's the Ithaca dress code.
Exactly.
So I have a question about trying to think if I just wanted to go flow naturally, like somebody was talking about preparing for the interview. I said, no, that's not that great. You just want to go natural. But I can think of with Pegasus, I'm on Channel 13, the public access, and funding, and this happened before you took office. But there's a thing about the funding. There's some reworking of the funding, and then Time Warner was trying to get the minimum amount of payment that they could, and then they said, well, the 5% of some, I'm not even sure how it works, but that okay, now the city could give that back to Pegasus to pay for funding, but if you don't, then too bad, you're out, or something like that. And I'm not even sure. You're probably more. Even though I'm supposed to be Mr. Public Access, you know more about it. Yeah, speak to that, Lee.
Sure. You know, I do know a little bit about it because I care about it. I mean, I think knowledge is power and information is power. So the more freely information flows, the more powerful people you have in a community. The more powerful people you have in a community, the better your community is going to do. And so that's why we do all this stuff, you know, the text messages that scroll across the LED screen in my office, all the Twitter, all the Facebook, all the press releases. That is about sharing information, and social media especially, sharing information on a platform where people can talk back, right? So it's one thing to just announce downward and say, this is what it's going to be, but when people can talk back, you know, it makes you better at your job.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And cable access is an important part of that, because television is one of the main ways that information beams directly into our living rooms.
Right.
Time Warner Cable, and I shouldn't just single out Time Warner Cable. All of the cable companies have been systematically trying to undermine public access because these are channels that they want to make money on. You know, so they've been trying to kick off community after community from their public access. Now the law says that they have to have those channels and they have to provide space for our programming, and they have to take a percentage of what every subscriber pays and provide that in money to the station. But in ways subtle and not so subtle, Time Warner Cable has made it inhospitable for public access. They don't take care of the facility. They underinvest in the studio.
I had no
short
idea.
constantly.
This is good information.
Yeah. They constantly short the amount of money that should be going to public access. And they're hard to fight. I was on the Cable Access Oversight Committee when I was on a Common Council member before I became mayor. And we would constantly struggle to even get a meeting with these folks.
Oh, no way.
With the local folks. I mean, and you know where the Time Warner Cable office is in relation to the public access. It's in the same lot. I mean,
Yeah,
you walk
that's
across the parking
ridiculous.
lot,
That's so
still could
corporate
be
and
me.
obnoxious, excuse my language.
No, and it is. It's one of those rights, like so many of our rights, that you can't take for granted.
Right.
They're here because somebody fought for them.
Right.
So you got to keep fighting for it.
Right, and living in Ithaca, you're actually not from here originally, right? And you picked up on the fact that this town has a lot of people in it that are super smart and forward thinking and very environmental and all this stuff. And so to really capitalize on the business of social media and, well, capitalize isn't the word, but like make the most use of what is already out there is so smart. And you mentioned the communities in Ithaca are segregated. Could you elaborate a little bit more about that? Because I feel that way too. I'm a townie local, I'm 50, and I moved back to Ithaca a year and a little bit ago, and you know, I've seen like for me personally, I've seen so many more biracial babies, but then there's a lot going on beneath the surface that I never saw in New York City. But could you elaborate a little bit more?
Sure. Yeah, I think, so our city is still segregated by race and class, in the same way that a lot of cities are. There are blocks that are blacker than the city is on average, and then there are blocks that are whiter than the city is on average. And I think you've got to admit that that is not accidental or incidental, and that that's not unimportant. There are reasons why that is the way it is. So that's the first form of segregation. But there's a second form of segregation that has less to do with class or race. It is just more about the way people live their lives now.
Right.
Whereas before there used to be everybody was a member of an Elks Club or the Rotary or Tuesday night bowling league, dinner parties.
Right.
That was the way they created social connections and bonds. And they would become bonded to their neighbors and to the rest of the community because they had to get out of their house and go someplace in order to connect.
True.
Now, you can Skype with your best friend from high school from the day you graduate until the day you die.
That could be your connection. You never have to leave your room.
Right, the internet has created
Right.
some type of segregation in like, so it's useful,
right.
but it's also like harmful.
Right.
You know?
And who's to say in the long run whether this is better or worse? I mean, what it means is that you can maintain these positive social connections from the comfort of your own home.
Right.
And you can stay connected to people even though they're very far away from you. But what it also means is that, and I was very struck by this, is that there are so many people, you could live on Cliff Street in Ithaca and not know any of your neighbors.
That's right.
Or even if you live on Cliff Street and you know everybody on Cliff Street, you do not know anybody who lives on Chestnut Place,
Right.
just across West Elm. Or you do not know anybody who lives on Plain Street,
Right.
So we become segregated, just
Right.
separated from each other.
Yeah.
And I think that matters, especially in times of crisis, times of emergency. It's amazing. One of the things that the internet's doing is that in times of emergency, worldwide, it is now easy to give money when there's a terrible earthquake in Haiti.
Right, in
Right.
Asia, anywhere.
Anywhere. But it could mean that when there's a fire here in Ithaca, somebody loses their home, or a tractor trailer runs into simians, somebody loses their life, that people will be disengaged, that they won't see that as media. Now, I've got to say, that hasn't been the case so far. People are incredibly still supportive and emotive, and they still care about this place. But just like I was saying about public access, that only exists so long as we fight for it.
Right.
So as long as we keep doing things that bring people together so they all feel like they are Ithacans, things like the fireworks in Stewart Park, I think that is part of our job, part of my job, being mayor, is continue to make people feel bound to their neighbors.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so I'm actually applying for I didn't know you were on the oversight committee.
Yes,
That's cool.
cable access over, yes.
Yeah, I'm applying as just as a city resident, and hopefully, because they had a vacancy, so hopefully I'll get on. Now, I'm from Norwich, is my hometown.
Oh, I did
So-
not know that.
Yeah, so you're Sherwood Norwell, right?
Norwell, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
cool.
Wait,
So we had the small town vibe.
I'm sorry, wait.
What?
Connecticut,
No.
Norwich,
It's a little small town.
New York, and you're next to Norwich.
Next
It's,
door.
yeah, it's just a little bit north of Sherwood Norwell.
Howdy doody.
Norwell is a small town in
I'm a
Sherwood.
naive bird. You have to forgive me in advance for not knowing more. In fact, I did not know. I will confess publicly. I know very little about the mayor, just his handsome good looks, and that he's 28 years old. He's in his Saturn return, and we can talk more about that in a bit. But
Yeah, if you didn't know, it's funny. How far are we from where we grew up here? An hour and a half, right? To get
Yeah.
to Norwich. Do you find that most of the kids have no idea where Norwich is?
No
Exactly.
idea. Exactly.
I grew up an hour and a half north of here. You would think I grew up a million miles away. I mean,
Right,
both
right.
in the culture's very different, but I think, they call us 10 square miles surrounded by reality. I think
yes,
folks are very acquainted with these 10 square miles, less acquainted with reality.
we could say self-centered. Ithacans are very self-amused and self-centered.
Yeah.
I will take responsibility
Well,
for that
I mean,
statement.
we are.
Oh,
this-
you were born and brought up here.
right.
No, I wasn't born here. I moved here. My story is I moved here in 1972. My dad showed up and was working at Cornell University. Then my parents done got divorced. Oh, sorry. Well, that language, right? Then I moved to Europe and back because we were that type of family that moved to Europe and back. And my dad is now retiring from Cornell, but as a result, I was extremely self-centered, typical Ithaca, and very self-amused, and really knew only about Ithaca. And then, of course, New York City, because I ended up living there for 20 years. But anyway, but back to you. Oh, I want to make one statement about the segregation thing you were talking about. I think that also a facet of working so many hours, because the economy is still not super fair in Ithaca. Let's talk about rent and taxes for 2 seconds, because that is a
Only 2
huge
seconds?
smile. Anyway, we could talk about it for 6 hours, but I don't want to waste everyone's time, of course. I feel that in Ithaca, people are forced to hold, like similar in New York City where the rents are high, hold 3 jobs. So as a result, they're tired and they don't get to know each other.
Yeah.
I think that's also part of it, because I do spend a fair amount of time on Facebook because I have a business. And I'm a single mother, and I've got 3 kids, 2 of whom live with me. So I spend a fair amount of time doing social media because it's just useful, and it's like, I'm never going to know about anybody unless I join, right?
Yeah.
But the other part is that we're out there hustling, right? And looking for more jobs. I work odd jobs.
We call it the,
Yeah, go.
yeah,
We call that the Ithaca Shuffle.
The Ithaca
When you
Shuffle.
work, when you go from your second job to your third job back to your first job, trying to make ends meet. You compare it to New York City. The truth is that compared to the rent,
it is harder to make ends meet in Ithaca than it is in New York City.
I agree.
So as a percentage of your median income in New York City and your median rents in New York City, you're doing better than you are in Ithaca. And so the rents are too high. I mean, we're in the top 10
Right.
most expensive places.
Well, the incomes are better in New York. That's one of the reasons why I moved there. Plus, I have 2 areas of specialization, but I'm an oddball.
Right.
So I fit in here and I make my money elsewhere a lot of times.
And a lot of people do this. So
Yeah.
there's 2 ways you attack that problem. The first is you bring the rents down, and the second is bring incomes up. I think our largest problem is actually on the rent side. We have incomes that are higher than any of our neighbors. Really
Fully.
in upstate New York.
Fully.
Right. But the rents are just outrageous. And the reason for that is that from 1970
Mm-hmm.
until about 2 years ago, we did not build a single net new unit in the city of Ithaca.
All right.
So the same number of bedrooms existed, but we had more jobs and more jobs and more jobs. So you have more people competing for the same number of bedrooms.
Wow.
Yeah, what's going to happen? Right, from 2000 to 2012, the average rent went from $500 a month to $900 a month.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And I was one of the lucky people that got a very large apartment for $830 a month.
It's lucky.
Completely
rare.
stupid luck. Like,
It's
I
rare.
know that
It
I
doesn't
should be
happen.
paying $400 more.
Right, and it doesn't happen, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you have, the math's pretty simple. If you got 30,000 bedrooms here, but you have 40,000 people who live here,
Uh-huh.
then 10,000 people are going to be excluded.
Right.
And they're going to be excluded on the basis of price. Because everyone's going to say, how much can I get for it? Look at what they can get for it. Anybody who can't compete or keep up is pushed out.
Right.
So what we've got to do is build more bedrooms.
Right.
The closer we get to matching our demand, the lower the rents will go.
And in fact, I want to just add to this little bit of commentary. How many? Oh, I'm not letting you get a word in edgewise.
No, go ahead.
Oh, this is all
That's why I
about me,
brushed.
isn't it?
That's why I brushed you.
Jeepers creepers. Well, I do like to think on my feet. The business of population increase. The population has actually technically only increased about 5,000 in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Like much of the stuff going on has to do with increase. The student population really is not increasing that much, although Cornell seems to be building more and more buildings all the time, and
Yeah.
we don't have to talk about that. That's like an
It's-
eyesore. But
So it's 2 dynamics. It's
So the city of Ithaca has stayed at 30,000 people since the 1970s. The Tompkins County has grown by about 50,000 people. So what you're getting is a lot of new suburban development,
Right.
these sprawling cul-de-sacs where we cram people, and it's not environmentally friendly, it's not culturally friendly, it's not good for our economics. So we've got to reverse that trend. And the population is growing because people are living longer, right? But the need for housing is growing even faster than that population growth. Because before, you would have your average
household size was larger than right now, right? In a 2-bedroom apartment before, you might have 2 people who are married, and 3 kids,
Mhm.
right? Or you might have a family of 5 in a 3-bedroom apartment. You would have people stay in the homes where they grew up until they met somebody and got married, and then they move into a house together, and then eventually the grandparents would move into that same house with them. Now, everybody wants their own apartment. You turn 18, you go get your own apartment. You stay in your own apartment until you get married, not at 22 like people used to, but at 35. So until you're 35, you have your own apartment, and your future spouse has their own apartment. Your grandparents, they don't want to move in with the family anymore. They want to live independently until they're 85, 90, 95, so they need their own apartment. So we actually need more apartments per person now than we did 50 years ago. And we have more people than we did 50 years ago. So both of those trends increase the demand for housing.
Could I add to that a little bit?
Yeah.
This is just reminding me of New York City, of course, because I just moved back from there. There's the amount of condominiums that are single bedroom has increased exponentially, like out in Bushwick and East Williamsburg and all the, the new hot neighborhoods. Certainly Manhattan is just filled with them. But that reminds me, that same trend going on here just reminds me of how people don't want to get to know their neighbor. They're like, I want to just go home and like shut the door and, and actually in truth, the days, like I'm extremely driven on my own, like I'm very project-based type of person. And the days that I'm like rushing home, oh my God, I got to do all this stuff. I don't have time for my neighbor. And the truth is, slow down, say hi to your neighbor, actually.
Slow down. You move too fast.
Okay, who's next? Wait,
Got
that
to
was
make
the
them.
end, I thought.
Oh, I've got a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
I thought I did. Oh, about
You're a gypsy. Here, give me that.
the
Tell me more.
Ithaca neighborhood housing.
Oh, yeah.
That I've had a lot of trouble with them, but I guess they're really good because they're one of the only things to get affordable housing.
Yeah.
I guess there's a question in there someplace, but they're doing the housing development over there. If we give you thoughts on that, it's great that they do that, but if they do unwarranted fines and cause unjust evictions, that can be problematic.
Right. Yeah, like, well, they're landlords. And how many of us love our landlords?
My landlord is really cool, actually. He's a firefighter for the city of New York, and he doesn't live here because the taxes are too high. He lives in Erin.
Yeah. Well, I think, there's good. I've had good landlords and bad landlords, and it's never. It's relationships always fraught, And INHS is certainly not perfect, but you're right. They are the only people that are dedicated to building more affordable housing right now. There's a lot of people who want to build housing in town, but few people want to build affordable housing. And what they've done at Breckenridge and then at Stone Quarry and then at Hancock is making the city better. And I think they're getting better. Paul Mazzarella and Joe Bose are learning a lot about
community input and feedback, and I think they're becoming more effective. But yeah, I won't claim that. I don't even think they'd claim that they're perfect. And well, like I said, they're landlords.
Right.
Right on. Now, my cameraman and creative consultant Ed Lisby has a question. So we will defer to him. You got this one?
Yeah. Who shoots him? That's like a philosophical question. When the cameraman talks, if it's free fall from him. Yeah.
I want to ask a question about your part in the county legislator election in the fall.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know all the facts, but I always liked you and everything you've done in Ithaca.
I appreciate that.
Until then.
Yeah.
So it seems like, and you know more about it than I do, but it seems like although legally everything was done right about Nate's resignation, or the 2 resignations, and then the timing seemed to be set up so that challenges or other candidates would have a more difficult time entering the race, very short windows, like Anna running against Nate. So that the appearance, a lot of people feel there's an appearance of some impropriety, even though legally everything was done according to Hoyle. So I'm just curious about was that all circumstance with the resignations and the date so late and things like that?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thanks. So, I hear what you're saying. So what happened, for members of the public, in case they don't know, Kathy Luz Herrera announced that she was going to be resigning from the legislature. That afternoon, Anna Kellis announced that she was going to run for that seat. The next day, Nate Shinagawa announced that he was going to resign his seat on the legislature and run for that seat as well, move over to that neighborhood. So that was it. I mean, that's how it's.